household expenses, Lucan chose to forget his sorrows at the Claremont Club, an exclusive member-only gambling club in Mayfair owned by his friend John Espringle. Victorian had continued to live at the family home in Lower Belgrave Street with their children and the nanny, Sarah Riser, on the night of the 7th November.
Don't forget to take out your trash cans.
Sorry about that. The night of November 7th, Sandra should have been there since it was usually her night off, but unfortunately for her, she had swapped it that week in order to help out. At 4:80 p.m., Sandra offered to make some tea and bring it up. When she didn't return, Lady Lucan decided to investigate the holdup, venturing down to the kitchen only to be jumped upon and beaten repeatedly with a lead pipe. She recognized that Ashland's voice as that of her husband, fighting for her life. Lady Lincoln grabbed his testicles and squeezed. Lord Lincoln seemed to calm down and went and to get a cloth to clean his wife's face, leaving Veronica, a widow of appropriation, to escape. At 9:45 p.m., she burst into the nearby Plum's Arms pub, screaming for help. When the police arrived, Sandra Rivers' body was discovered in the basement, wrapped in a canvas mail bag. Lincoln had almost certainly mistaken Sandra for his wife and bludgeoned her to death. Lincoln was seen one last time having shown up at his friend's house 42 miles away in Upton Field. Susan Maxwell Scott listened to his fictional story of an unknown assailant attacking his wife and the nanny, which he had witnessed through the window. He claimed he had gone in to help and interrupt the attack, but Veronica had screamed that Lincoln had paid someone to kill her, so he fled. He telephoned his mother just after midnight, asking her to collect the children and left, promising to sort things out. He was never seen again. So where did he go? Some claim he drowned himself in the Newton Harbor through sheer guilt at killing Sandra. His car had been found abandoned nearby. In 2012, Shirley Robert, who worked for Lincoln's close friend John, claimed to have overheard a conversation between his friend, stating that he had escaped to Africa. Veronica was extremely speculative of this suggestion since he likes his creature circumference and had a dislike for foreign places. Espanyol owned a zoo, which many believe was Lincoln's final resting place. Lincoln knew that without proof of death, probate could not be granted for a minimum of 7 years, meaning his children would be old enough to deal with their own estate affairs and his wife would lose all control. Claremont Club guards believe that he shot himself at the zoo and had his body fed to the tigers. It is a just table that might just be true. Espanyol's mother told police at the time, "Last I heard of him, he was being fed to the tigers at my son's zoo." Either way, Lucky Lincoln hasn't been seen for 45 years. Donald Crowhurst aboard the Tiger election. Okay, here we go. Disappearance 2. Donald Charles Alfred Crowhurst. Date went missing June 29th, 1969. I'm just going to call him Steve, was little more than a weekend sailor whose reckless decisions to compete in the Sunday Times Golden Globe race at non-stop, single-handed round the world yacht race was destined to end in tragedy. Sadly, the $50,000 cash prize was to grant a temporation for a man facing financial ruin, and so, with low regard for the destination impact it would have had on his wife and children, he set off on October 31st, 1968. Things began to go wrong almost immediately. Since the 400-foot trauma, the Tagomath Electron was an inappropriate choice for such a dangerous voyage. Lack of time and a general spladash approach meant he had set off without completing any of his safety devices and had been too busy giving interviews to press to pack many of his supplies. By December, he had realized that he was way out of his depth, but dared not quit the race, knowing that this would lead to enormous humiliation and financial ruin. He chose instead to cheat, shutting down his radio and planning to wait in the South Atlantic until the other sailors began the final leg. He would simply false. Okay, and now we are going to talk about something else.